Imagine risking $35 billion on a single, audacious gamble. A gamble that could either bankrupt one of the oldest business empires in India, or completely rewrite the rules of the global digital economy. In 2016, Mukesh Ambani did exactly that. He unleashed a weapon of mass disruption on the Indian market, triggering a brutal price war, bankrupting billionaire competitors, and pulling 1 billion people into the internet age almost overnight. This is the staggering, untold financial masterclass of Reliance Jio. Welcome to our deep dive into what is arguably the most expensive and successful startup venture in human history. To call Reliance Jio a telecommunications company is a massive understatement. It is a highly calculated digital ecosystem designed to monopolize the data consumption of the second largest population on Earth. Today, we are breaking down the exact strategy, the hidden economics, and the brilliant and ruthless business tactics that made it happen. Whether you are a retail investor looking for the next big market moat, a business student studying market entry strategies, or simply someone trying to understand how your internet bill dropped by 95% in a single year, you need to understand the Jio playbook. We are going to strip away the PR jargon and look strictly at the numbers, the capex, and the sheer financial engineering behind this behemoth. The core question we are answering today is a paradox that baffled Wall Street and global analysts alike. How do you spend tens of billions of dollars building physical infrastructure, only to give your core product away for entirely free and somehow emerge just 4 years later with a valuation exceeding $65 billion? The answer lies in understanding that Jio was never playing the telecom game. They were playing a completely different sport. Here is exactly how we are going to break this down. First, we will examine the broken market dynamics of India prior to 2016. Second, we'll uncover the secret, decade-long buildup of Jio's infrastructure. Third, we will analyze the bloody price war and the resulting industry consolidation. And finally, we will look at Jio Platforms today, the ultimate digital monopoly that convinced both Mark Zuckerberg and Sundar Pichai to write multi-billion-dollar checks. Let's rewind to the year 2015. The Indian telecom market was a chaotic, hyper-fragmented battleground. Over a dozen operators were fighting tooth and nail for dominance. But this intense competition wasn't actually benefiting the consumer in the way free market economics suggests it should. Instead of innovating, these companies formed an unspoken oligopoly, perfectly content with milking an outdated infrastructure. Back then, data was a luxury item. A single gigabyte of 3G data cost anywhere from 250 to 300 rupees. To put that in perspective, considering the average per capita income, streaming a high-definition movie on YouTube could easily cost a significant portion of a daily wage for millions of Indians. Because of this, data consumption was heavily rationed. People literally turned their mobile data on just to check WhatsApp messages, and then immediately turned it back off. The incumbent operators, like Airtel, Vodafone, and Idea, were trapped in a legacy business model. Nearly 75% of their massive revenues came from voice calls, charging users roughly half a rupee for every single minute they spoke. They had absolutely no financial incentive to upgrade their networks to high-speed 4G or make internet access cheaper, because pushing internet calling like Skype or WhatsApp audio would directly cannibalize their massive, highly profitable voice revenues. Furthermore, their infrastructure was antiquated. Built on older 2G and 3G circuit-switched networks, their technology was fundamentally designed for phone calls, with data awkwardly bolted on top as an afterthought. To upgrade to a pure 4G data network meant tearing down and rebuilding their entire infrastructure. It was a classic innovator's dilemma. They were paralyzed by their own current success, leaving the door wide open for a ruthless disruptor with nothing to lose. Enter Mukesh Ambani, chairman of Reliance Industries. Reliance was originally an oil and petrochemicals giant, but Ambani saw the writing on the wall. He famously coined the phrase, "Data is the new oil." He realized that just as physical infrastructure and energy drove the 20th century, digital connectivity would drive the 21st. And he recognized that the entire Indian telecom industry was artificially constraining the growth of this new digital economy. He decided it was time to blow it up. The Jio masterstroke didn't happen overnight. It was a closely guarded secret that began a full 6 years before launch. In 2010, the Indian government auctioned off broadband wireless spectrum. A relatively unknown company named Infotel Broadband surprisingly won the pan-India spectrum. Just hours after the auction results were announced, Reliance Industries swooped in and acquired Infotel. It was a brilliant, stealthy backdoor entry into the telecom sector, securing the most critical raw material needed, spectrum airwaves. While the incumbents were slowly patching their 2G and 3G networks, Reliance made a massively contrarian and highly risky technological decision. They decided to skip 2G and 3G entirely. They were going to build a 100% pure 4G LTE network based solely on Internet Protocol, or IP. This meant that on Jio's network, a voice call wouldn't be a traditional phone call at all. It would actually be transmitted as a data packet, much like a Zoom call or a WhatsApp audio message. To pull this off required unimaginable capital. Building a pan-India fiber optic network from scratch is brutally expensive and logistically nightmarish. Reliance poured an estimated $35 billion in capital expenditure into the ground before signing up a single paying customer. For investors, this was terrifying. The debt on Reliance's balance sheet ballooned. If this gamble failed, it had the potential to drag down the entire oil-to-chemicals empire along with it. The execution was staggering. Jio laid over 250,000 kilometers of fiber optic cables across the subcontinent. They built a network capable of reaching over 18,000 cities and hundreds of thousands of villages. By building a massive, modern, deep fiber network, Jio ensured they would have unprecedented capacity. They weren't just building a road, they were building a massive, multi-lane digital superhighway capable of handling exabytes of data. But there was one massive problem. Even if Jio built this state-of-the-art 4G network, barely anyone in India actually owned a 4G-compatible smartphone in 2015. So Jio didn't just build the network, they built the hardware too. They launched their own brand of ultra-affordable 4G devices called LYF smartphones, and later the JioPhone, essentially subsidizing the hardware cost to force 4G adoption. They systematically removed every single barrier to entry. Then came the day that shook the industry. On September 5, 2016, Mukesh Ambani stepped onto the stage at the Reliance annual general meeting and dropped a nuclear bomb on the telecom sector. He announced the official launch of Jio, with a proposition that defied all traditional business logic. Domestic voice calls to any network would be entirely free. Forever, no roaming charges, and data would be priced at a fraction of the incumbents' rates. But that wasn't even the craziest part. To rapidly acquire customers and stress test their massive new network, Jio launched the Welcome Offer. For the first several months, everything. Unlimited 4G data, unlimited voice, unlimited SMS, and access to a premium suite of apps was entirely 100% free for absolutely anyone who managed to get a Jio SIM card. People literally lined up around city blocks, waiting for hours just to get their hands on one. From an economic standpoint, this was the ultimate edge case between aggressive penetration pricing and illegal predatory pricing. Competitors screamed bloody murder, running to the regulatory authorities claiming Jio was unlawfully dumping services below cost to bankrupt the competition. But Jio argued it was simply a promotional offer to beta test a new network. Because the network was completely automated and IP-based, the marginal cost of adding one more user was practically zero. The consumer response was unprecedented in the history of global business. It took Skype roughly 10 years to reach 100 million users. It took WhatsApp 3.5 years. It took Facebook over 4 years. Reliance Jio crossed the 100 million subscriber mark in just 170 days. It remains one of the fastest rates of customer acquisition for any commercial service in the history of the world. The Indian telecom market had been completely hijacked. With data suddenly free and abundant, consumer behavior shifted instantly. Indians went from strictly rationing megabytes of data to happily consuming gigabytes of high-definition video every single day. Almost overnight, India leapfrogged from being ranked 155th in the world for mobile broadband penetration to becoming the absolute #1 nation in the world for mobile data consumption, surpassing the USA and China combined. While consumers rejoiced, the incumbent operators were thrust into an absolute nightmare. Their highly profitable voice revenue stream, which made up 75% of their income, was suddenly worthless. You cannot compete with free. To stop millions of customers from porting out to Jio, Airtel, Vodafone, and Idea had no choice but to slash their own prices, immediately triggering massive financial losses and destroying their profit margins. The war also played out in the regulatory trenches. Because Jio offered free calls, Jio users naturally called users on other networks. Under telecom rules, the network originating the call had to pay a tiny fee, the interconnect usage charge, or IUC, to the receiving network. The massive volume of outgoing calls from Jio meant RIL was paying hundreds of millions of dollars in IUC fees to its rivals. Jio lobbied aggressively to have this fee abolished, to further crush the incumbents. The sheer financial brutality of the Jio-induced price war led to a swift and merciless market cleansing. Smaller operators with high debt and limited cash reserves simply could not survive the onslaught. Companies like Aircel filed for bankruptcy. Telenor exited the market. Tata Docomo folded. Even Reliance Communications, a separate telecom company run by Mukesh Ambani's own brother Anil Ambani, was forced to shut down its wireless operations. The desperation reached the highest levels of the industry. Vodafone India and Idea Cellular, the second and third largest operators in the country, realized that individually, they would be wiped out. In a desperate bid for survival, they merged to form VA. But this was a merger born out of extreme distress, not synergy. They combined two heavily indebted balance sheets and two sets of legacy 2G, 3G infrastructure, while still bleeding customers to Jio. When the dust finally settled, the Indian telecom sector had been radically transformed. A highly fragmented market of over a dozen operators had collapsed into a tight oligopoly dominated by just 3 private players: a financially strained Vodafone Idea, a highly resilient and fiercely competitive Bharti Airtel, and the undisputed market leader, Reliance Jio. Mukesh Ambani had successfully bought out the market. Once market dominance was secured and the competition was either dead or mortally wounded, Jio executed the next phase of the strategy: monetization. Slowly, carefully, and systematically, Jio began raising its tariff prices. Because the market was now an oligopoly, whenever Jio raised prices, Airtel and Vodafone Idea gladly followed suit to heal their own bleeding balance sheets. The days of entirely free services were over. The most critical metric to watch here is ARPU, or average revenue per user. By steadily increasing the cost of their data packs by 15% to 20% every few years, Jio has successfully driven its ARPU upwards. When you multiply a small increase in ARPU by a staggering user base of over 450 million subscribers, the resulting surge in top-line revenue and bottom-line profitability is absolutely massive. This is where the magic of high operating leverage kicks in. Remember that massive $35 billion upfront capex? Because a telecom network has extremely high fixed costs, but very low variable costs, once the network is built and operating expenses are covered, nearly every single additional rupee earned from a price hike flows directly straight to the bottom line as pure profit. Jio's EBITDA margins exploded. Let's analyze this through the lens of unit economics. Jio's customer acquisition cost during the free launch phase was primarily just the cost of printing a SIM card and the KYC process. By giving away the service, marketing essentially did itself. Now that those users are locked into the ecosystem, their customer lifetime value is exponentially higher than the initial acquisition cost. It is a textbook example of long-term value creation. But relying purely on selling raw data is a low-margin commodity business. Jio knew they couldn't just be a dumb pipe delivering the internet. They needed to own the destination, so they built a massive walled garden of digital services. Jio TV for live television, Jio Cinema for movies, Jio Saavn for music. By bundling these premium apps for free with their data plans, they made it incredibly painful for a user to ever switch to a competitor. In 2019, Reliance executed a brilliant corporate restructuring. They moved the telecom business and all of their proprietary digital apps, AI investments, and tech platforms under one single umbrella entity, Jio Platforms Limited. By separating the massive debt of the parent company from the pristine high-growth technology division, they created a highly attractive, clean entity, primed for global venture capital and tech investments. What followed in the summer of 2020, right in the middle of a global pandemic, was nothing short of historic. Jio Platforms sold off roughly a 33% stake to a who's who of global tech titans and private equity firms. Facebook invested $5.7 billion. Google invested $4.5 billion. KKR, Silver Lake, and Intel poured in billions more. In a matter of weeks, Jio raised over $20 billion, completely wiping out Reliance's net debt. These weren't just financial investments. They were deep strategic partnerships. Meta's investment is aimed at integrating JioMart, Reliance's massive e-commerce push, directly into WhatsApp, which has nearly 500 million users in India, creating an undisputed social commerce monopoly. Google's investment is centered on developing a customized, ultra-cheap Android operating system to capture the remaining hundreds of millions of Indians still using 2G feature phones. Today, the battlefield has moved to 5G. Once again, Jio is leading the charge with a massive nationwide 5G rollout, utilizing a standalone SA 5G architecture. This isn't just about faster downloads for consumers. This is about enterprise solutions. Jio is targeting massive B2B revenue streams through Internet of Things, automated manufacturing, smart cities, and cloud computing. They are laying the groundwork to capture the entire enterprise tech stack of India. Reliance Jio proves that with enough capital, flawless execution, and a willingness to absorb massive short-term pain, it is possible to entirely rewire the economy of a nation. They didn't just win the market, they expanded it exponentially. If you found this financial breakdown valuable, hit the like button to signal the algorithm. Subscribe for more deep dives into business strategy, and let me know in the comments below, which business monopolies should we analyze next? See you in the next video.